Talk more about this tragedy. We are bringing in former Chief of U.S. Border Patrol, Ron Vitiello. Ron, it's good to see you. Thanks so much for making the time tonight.
Thanks for inviting me. Our hearts go out to these soldiers and Agent Luna's family. I don't know Chris Luna or his family, but we know what he did for us. So I'm grateful.
Certainly. Ron, what do you make of this distinction? The National Guard had ordered a safety stand down for all helicopter units last month after 2 accidents, but not for those that are part of a federal mission, as this was. So help us understand the context here. Why was this helicopter airborne even after the safety stand down?
Well, you have to imagine these pilots and the crew, that the safety is their #1 mission, right? They can't do their jobs effectively if they're not safe in the aircraft. Usually a stand down, the ones that I'm familiar with, we had a few when I was in Border Patrol. It's usually a way to organize the crew around a specific issue. It could be training, it could be a piece of equipment, it could be a new procedure that they want everybody to learn in tandem. And so stand downs are usually for people, not for equipment. And obviously, they wouldn't have been flying if everything wasn't in order as it relates to the equipment and their own knowledge of the safety standards.
Okay, I appreciate that. And we have not yet heard the official cause of the helicopter crash, though we know there were safety issues in the past. There were 2 accidents last month, including a deadly one. So do you think it is reasonable to think there was a mechanical or safety issue with this helicopter?
Well, that's why they do these investigations, right? They're going to get to the bottom of what happened to that aircraft. But again, a safety stand down is to organize people's information and organize people. It's typically, a safety stand down for equipment. There wouldn't have been a distinction if there was something wrong with the bird.
We saw a video that Jorge Ventura highlighted for us yesterday of cartel members who were in close proximity to this crash laughing. I want to take a quick look at that video with you together. Ron, any response to this video from Allie Bradley?
Well, that's what evil looks like, right? These people are in the business of misery. They have no account for a human life. They treat people in the worst ways possible. And so I'm not surprised that they were entertained by this. That's what scum do.
You know this area of the U.S. Mexico border well. Would you characterize this as a particularly dangerous place for U.S. military personnel to fly?
Well, again, safety being #1, but it is a very active area. Even without the chaos that we're seeing on the border every single day, it's an area that is frequented by drug cartels. There's lots of seizures made on the ground there by the Border Patrol, by DPS, and by the Guard. So it's a very active area. There's lots of risks. It's one of the things we talk about, we talk about what these people did for us. They know the risks. They take those risks every day. They share that risks with the community and their own families. And so this is what we ask young men and women on the front line to do for us, and sometimes it ends in tragedy.
Absolutely, and families grieving tonight. We have seen a push for new legislation after the killing of Laken Riley. I wanted to get your perspective on this. What change would you like to see regarding undocumented migrants in this country?
Well, we have to get back to a place where if someone's in the country illegally, there's a consequence for it. Whether they cross the border illegally, they need to be sent back. We got to end the incentives that bring people to the United States, things like sanctuary cities, things like, free college tuition or IDs, those kinds of things need to end. If we're going to secure the border, we have to end the incentives for people that come here. And that's not happening now. And that's what needs to change. We got to reinstitute a penalty for people who break the law, including, people who are in the country illegally who commit other crimes in big cities like New York and Los Angeles.
I also want to get your perspective on this because over the last few months, the Tucson sector in Arizona has led the southern border in migrant encounters as opposed to any of the sectors in Texas. Why do you think we're seeing this shift?
The cartels control the traffic. And so for whatever reason, they've shifted over. I think the attention that Texas and Governor Abbott were getting in Texas might lead some of the people who are procuring the smugglers to say we would rather go west than try in Texas. Texas did institute new laws. They can arrest local law enforcement, state law enforcement in Texas. When they see somebody cross the border illegally, they can take them into custody under state charges. And so that's going to dissuade some people. There's probably a wait and see attitude being taken by some, and then others are just choosing to move out west because they can be successful. There are a lot of people being released from the border every single night.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.